Hello everyone, and thank you for joining the quest. I am PS Quest, and this is Crypto Quest. So today I want to cover some important news in the crypto space, as well as talk about what's going on with DeFi and DEXs, which are decentralized exchanges in particular. So we have seen a nice run up with SushiSwap, with Aave and Compound, and now it's time to consider other ecosystems like Solana and their DeFi and their DEXs to see what the next big thing is, to keep you guys ahead of the curve. So, of course, we have some news for Solana. They went down after peaking at 400,000 transactions per second. The network went down. So the transactions, it looks like, flooded the processing queue with a lack of prioritization of the network critical messaging, causing the network to start forking. And if we show this thread, let's take a look at the full details of this. The forking led to excessive memory consumption, causing some nodes to go offline. And engineers across the ecosystem attempted to stabilize the network, but were unsuccessful. So the validator community elected to coordinate a restart of the network, and the community who was preparing for the new release instructions, they all coordinated and they restarted it and they fixed it. So this means the good news is here, we got up to 400,000 transactions per second. That just proves how crazy the volume on this chain is becoming. And it's absolutely necessary for us to face these kind of challenges so that we can find out what's wrong, and then the guys that are involved, they know what's going on and they can fix it. I mean, it happens with all the blockchains. It happens with Cardano, it happened with Bitcoin, it happens with Ethereum, all the time. So not so much with Ethereum anymore because there's so many validators, because everyone's mining Ethereum because it's so profitable. But that's going to change whenever there's proof of stake. Believe me, the switch over from Ethereum to proof of stake status is going to deeply impact Ethereum's ability to keep up with transactions. So mark my words on that. So what we need to look at now is, moving past that, what happened to Solana? Wow, it took a huge dip. It's been down now for 6 days in a row. Barely green for the 7th day. I was hoping it would be red, actually, because it's just so bullish for Solana right now. Because anytime that there's a hack or there's FUD or there's like a network going down, it's a huge buying opportunity for anybody who didn't get in at the lower levels. So if you can see here, the floor for me is $115. I would love for Solana to dip down here so I could pick up as much as I can. Long term on Solana, we're all bullish. I think everybody knows that this is one of the projects that has the most investment currently taking place in the ecosystem. So Chang Lu says, hi, I picked up more when it dipped. Buy. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you 100% on that. I mean, this is a project that dips down and you just load up on your bags because long term it's a great project. But if we think about this now, and we think carefully, we do see the DeFi projects like, let's take a look at SushiSwap, for example, which is an Ethereum DeFi project. I hope you guys got in on my buy zone here. It dipped into the $9 to $10 region, the high 9s and the low 10s, several times, and in fact just 3 days ago. So it was a very nice buy opportunity. If you would be making 50% on your coins. So yeah, Sushi's running up like crazy. Part of that is because of the NFTs that they're going to announce soon, which I talked about in the show. Aave is running up like crazy over the last couple days. We see a similar pattern, really very similar to Sushi. And these are all the DeFi outlets. So Aave can go up about 30-40%. And so it leads us to think, okay, what's next? These are running up. What's next? Let's look at the things that are on the Solana ecosystem, like, for example, Serum or Radium or Orca. And I'm going to talk about that later in the show. But I first want to talk about a couple of news items, which I think are important. This is really cool news. Cryptocurrency could buy you a 101 carat diamond at Sotheby's. So international auction house Sotheby's will accept payment in Bitcoin or Ether at the sale of a 101 carat diamond this Friday, marking another milestone in the adoption of cryptocurrencies. And let me tell you guys, you better believe that whoever buys this, if they have cryptocurrency, they would for sure prefer to pay with cryptocurrency, because that means they don't have to sell their cryptocurrency and get taxed on their cryptocurrency. They can just, they can just buy things with it. So, this is really good news. I really hope that more of these kind of luxury brands start recognizing the value in Bitcoin and start accepting Bitcoin and Ether and all the other altcoins as payment, cryptocurrency really as payment for these things, because it just gives us another outlet to be able to spend our crypto on. I love it. Also, this is kind of a flex. So Hong Kong's largest landlord leases to the first crypto firm. It's a flex for the cryptocurrency industry as a whole, really. So Hong Kong Central District largest landlord, Hong Kong Land Holdings, signed a lease with its first crypto asset firm. So Hong Kong-based HashKey Group will occupy a floor in the 3 Exchange Tower, which is owned by Hong Kong Land, previously occupied by a Australia and New Zealand banking group. The space will be an upgrade for HashKey, currently based out of the Cyberport Startup Business Park. It just goes to show and proves, how relevant cryptocurrency is. We have now cryptocurrency leasing what I would imagine to be some very expensive real estate here, because Hong Kong is not cheap by any means. Every square inch of Hong Kong is super, super expensive. So the fact that, a cryptocurrency firm is making enough money to be in Hong Kong's largest landlord's building is pretty good news. It's just a flex. We also have Greenridge Generation orders 10,000 Bitcoin miners right after NASDAQ listing. Now, some unfortunate news, actually, after the NASDAQ listing, I think the stock price plummeted quite a bit, I think 30% or something like that. But no matter, this is just really good news for the future of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because these guys just ordered 10,000 S19 mining, Bitcoin mining rigs from Bitmain to expand their mining fleet. Now, I wonder if it says where they're going to be mining. Oh, look, yeah, Spartanburg, South Carolina. So they're coming to U.S. That's good news. Happy to see that in the U.S. And let's see. So the purchase marks the latest development in the Bitcoin miners' plans to achieve 50 megawatts power capacity in its mining facilities by 2025. Greenidge has been working on expanding its operations beyond its initial facility in upstate New York and expects mining operations in Spartanburg to begin Q4 2021. That's really exciting news. Investors, big companies are putting lots and lots of money into crypto now. It just proves how relevant crypto is, how it's here to stay, how you need to get involved. If you're not involved in cryptocurrency, you're going to be missing out big time. Some more news here. Tether says it doesn't hold any commercial paper issued by Evergrande. So there was a lot of FUD going around with this Chinese real estate company Evergrande, and how basically these guys are going bankrupt. In China, they're going bankrupt big time. And there was a lot of FUD that's saying Tether, owns a huge portion of Evergrande, and if Evergrande goes under, Tether's going to go under, and the cryptocurrency market's going to crash. Oh my God! But none of that happened. They don't even own any commercial paper issued by Evergrande. So this is just a little bit of reassurance, a little bit of curing of the Tether FUD. And I've said in my show plenty of times, guys, the stablecoin FUD is just so silly, because the worst thing that's going to happen is they need to do a little bit more documentation. They need to pay some fines or whatever if they're not following the rules, to a T, as regulated by whatever country, because this is global. We're talking about something that's on a global scale, and it's not that easy to abide by all the regulations, especially when they don't even know what the regulations are. So, U.S. could throw some random regulation at these guys, and it's like, okay, well, now we gotta, pay a fine or comply with your regulations. But a company that big, it's not gonna matter. It's just not gonna matter what they throw at them. They'll find a way to do it. They'll deal with it with lawyers. They'll pay the fines if they need to, and they'll adapt accordingly. So, I'm never susceptible to the FUD on Tether. I might be proven wrong. I very well could be proven wrong one day, but for the meantime, I just don't see it. Okay, so let's talk about the fun stuff here. I talked about the Solana ecosystem a couple weeks ago, actually, in one of my videos. And, I talked about Orca, and since I spoke about it, it's gone up about, 150% maybe? No, maybe 400%? Something like that. Anyway, Orca is a decentralized exchange on the Solana ecosystem. Today, it's up 43%. So it looks like people are definitely going along with the narrative that DeFi is pumping. And when you talk about DeFi, there's a lot of projects to think about, and a lot of projects that might get overlooked by big investors until it doesn't get overlooked. And then once they look at it, they will invest in it. So that's kind of how things work. Remember, we had the layer ones, and pretty much every single layer one project has run up about 100 to 200%. We're talking about Solana, we're talking about Cardano, we're talking about Phantom, Harmony One, Elrond. All these layer one chains all ran up. You know, they took their turn, and I believe that they're going to continue to run up quite a bit. So that happened, and now the narrative is shifting a little bit into the DeFi space, as we saw, as I showed earlier in the show with SushiSwap and Aave and Compound. So yeah, the next step is to see let's get ahead of the market. Let's see what's next. So Orca, yeah, it might be a little bit too late for Orca. It looks like it's correcting a little bit. I know the chart on this is kind of wonky. We don't have a trading view, unfortunately, for Orca right now, so we have to work off of this chart on CoinMarketCap, which it's not so bad, you know, once you get used to it. I'm looking at the number on the left side of the screen here for the price. Okay, so price up here was it got up to looked like it peaked at $9, and it corrected now down to $8.30. Too high for me. I would like to get back into Orca at the support level here, 650. If we see a bounce off of 650, maybe pick it up, 660, 670, and ride it back to the top. But it might be a little bit too late for Orca at this time. Let's see what's going on with the news for Orca. Aqua farms are now live. So yeah, lots of pools. There's tons of money locked into this protocol. I mean, it's insane. Let's see how much they have. TVL, the total value locked. Because that just proves, when you see the money going into the projects, you know that it's worthwhile. And we don't see TVL on this, unfortunately. But last time I checked, it's somewhere like around $3 billion. It's pretty high. And, okay, so that's Orca. It's run up a little bit too much. There's a ton of total value locked. There's a lot of money going into it, which means that investors are confident that this project is going to do well, right? Because that's smart money. That's where the smart money is with investors. So we look at Serum, and this is the other alternative DeFi project on Solana. So far, it's up only 3% today, and it's actually correcting quite a bit. So that Solana FUD, the network going down, has given us an opportunity here, it looks like. It's given us a pretty nice opportunity to buy in, not only for Solana, the mainnet, but also the DeFi projects in the ecosystem like Serum for a lower price. Because we saw it peaking out, $13, $12, and now it's down to $10, and it really hasn't run up like Orca has, which is something that we can see does happen. Oh, I think I know how to find how much TVL is in here. Let's take a look really quick at DeFi Llama. DeFi Llama will show you the TVL ranked by ecosystem. So we go Solana, we go TVL, right here, boom. Yeah, the biggest TVLs. Let's see. Okay, so Orca has 244 million TVL. Actually, quite low. Quite low still, surprisingly. Radium, 1.65 billion. Serum, which I'm talking about right now, Serum Swap, only 946,000. What? Doesn't seem right. Oh, here it is, SRM, 650 million. So it's comparable to Orca. That's actually a little bit more TVL locked into Serum right now, which is fantastic. I mean, that means, there's more confidence in Serum than there is Orca, yet Orca's running up. So of course Serum will for sure run up. Now, is it contingent on Solana running up? That's the question I'm asking. And that's the thing I'm trying to figure out is, will this run up be contingent on Solana running up? Maybe, but to be honest, Solana, so many red candles in a row, it's just bound to break out. I was charting it on the hourly because I'm so interested in this project. There's so much volume always coming into Solana, the Solana project. And it looks like it did break down from this wedge. If it dips any more, like back down to the 140 level again, it might retest it, but I don't think so. I think what we're seeing right here, guys, I think is accumulation. I believe that this was FUD, and that's accumulation. So Yeah, it basically rubber band corrected all the way up to $167 from 141, which I called on my Twitter, by the way, guys. So if you're not following me on Twitter, click it down below and follow me, because I called the rubber band snap right away, correction. And now it's kind of cooling off just a little bit and accumulating in this zone right here. So what happens after accumulation? Almost always with a good project, that's what happens. After a long period of accumulation, we see massive uptrend, unless something crazy happens. If something big in the news, stock market's down, something crazy, they call it a black swan event happens, then we break down. Otherwise, during an accumulation phase like this, as long as there's slightly lower volume than usual, but once we see bigger volume candles come in, the price will just start soaring up. So that's what I expect for Solana. Now, getting in on these projects like Serum or Radium or even Orca is really good because they're so low right now. We got a great opportunity to look at this and to keep an eye. Just throw a couple bucks at it. This is the type of project that I would just put very small amount into. Let me buy 100 Serum. Let me buy 20 Orca. Let me buy 100 Radium, and you see where it goes. And as the price, starts to go up and up and up, maybe you buy a little bit more, you buy the dips, and then, before you know it, you have a nice bag. And whenever these projects really start taking off and showing what they can do, like Uniswap did, like SushiSwap did, like SushiSwap is doing. What is Uniswap doing, by the way? Oh yeah, look at this. I mean, and this is the hourly candle too, by the way. So this is 2 days ago. It's gone up, 26% in 2 days. It's going crazy, This is and Uniswap is an older platform. It's certainly not as cool as something like Radium, where you can set your limit orders, you can set limit buy orders and stuff on Radium. So let's take a look at the Serum chart. Yeah, again, it kind of mirrors the Solana chart, where we had the nice run up, we have the FUD, which dipped down, and then even a lower low earlier today, and accumulation, sideways accumulation. So if we chart this out, we're probably going to want to look from here, and we're probably going to want to look from here. It does seem to be dipping right now. It might be a really good opportunity here. So I'm actually going to use the second green candle here and say that this broke down through the wedge. You know what? Let's pull it right back here. Yeah, I would say if we look at Serum and we see the price go somewhere around this level right here. That's my buy zone. My buy zone for Serum is 950, and I would expect it to eventually break upwards back to this trend line right here, and correct eventually, of course, back to the $12 level. But the thing about these DeFi projects, they are higher risk. So that means with more risk comes more reward. So if they go up like crazy, you can see an absolute run up on the price. Saber is another project, 51 cents right now. We look at it, and yeah, it's way below the moving average here. This is on the 7-day. So, wow. I mean, what a good opportunity to buy something like this. You don't want to go crazy on it. You don't want to go all in on it. You just want to put a little bit in here, 0.05% of your portfolio, should be some of these projects, some of these higher risk, but definitely higher reward projects. That's what I'm seeing with Saber. Now, Saber is a protocol, by the way, enabling seamless cross-chain liquidity, which is very, very cool. So with Saber, you can actually swap coins for different chain coins for each other. $4 billion total value locked. It's the 13th largest protocol in all of DeFi, and it's 50 cents. So, yeah, I mean, if you're not bullish on Saber, you might want to take another look. So that's all I want to talk about today. To be honest, I just want to let you guys know what's going on in the DeFi space, what the narrative is, why we're seeing massive pumps in DeFi. And my idea, to be honest, for why we are seeing massive pumps in DeFi is this. We had the SEC talking about regulating cryptocurrency. So what are people going to do? And you know what? The tweet from Gary Gensler of the SEC, he was talking about specifically cryptocurrency exchanges. And he was saying, yes, we are definitely going to be regulating cryptocurrency exchanges. So what happens when people say, well, I don't want to put my money on a cryptocurrency exchange, or I don't want to have my coins on an exchange? Well, they move it to a decentralized exchange or a DEX. That's what Uniswap is. That's what SushiSwap is. It's what Aave, Compound. They all have liquidity pools where you can happily store your coins, safely off exchanges and earn yield on them. So that's probably what a lot of people did, predicting that these exchanges are most likely going to get regulated, and they might have problems either getting their coins out, or they might have problems if you're, depending on the country you're in. If you're in the US, they might have issues, getting their coins out, and of course maybe coins will drop. And so the safest thing to do, I think, this is why I think DeFi is running up. The safest thing to do is to put your money on DEXs. So the other thing is, and this is something that is another hypothesis of mine, is that Solana is running up so much because people are buying it, right? So if people buy it, that means they have a lot of it. And if they don't want to just keep it sitting around, because, listen, I think people are in Solana for the long term. I mean, I know I am for sure. And I think most people really do see the power of Solana. I don't think people are just buying it and selling it and flipping it and trading it for the most part. I think that they're in it for the long term because that's where the smart money is. The smart money is in Solana for the long term. There's the most smart money that you can imagine is in Solana for the long term. So hey, follow that money and do the same thing, right? So I think a lot of people have Solana. They have big bags of Solana. They've been picking it up like crazy, and they want to know what to do with it. So they put it on a decentralized exchange, and that's why we see that Saber has so much TVL, right? They are the $3 billion in TVL. So that means people are putting their Solana in Saber. Why not? Earn a little bit of yield on it and keep it safe, keep it off the exchanges. That's what I think people are doing, and that's why I think these things are seriously going to start running up. Once people get familiar with the platform, familiar with the network, once Saber becomes, as common of a name in the cryptocurrency space as Uniswap, we're going to see parabolic movement of coins like this. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I want you guys to be aware of these projects, be aware of what people are doing, be aware of everything that's going on in the space, because that helps you, right? So I hope this overview of these awesome cryptocurrency projects proves to be informational for everyone. And if you like staying ahead of the curve, click that like button, please, and subscribe down below to get all the updates on the new happenings in the crypto space before everybody else. So until next time, keep your portfolio strong and keep your hands stronger.